Getting on. It looks like we're live. Are we?
Looks like it's happening.
It looks like it's happening.
Happening.
What's up, man? So how you doing?
Nothing casual, just hanging out with some friends.
Yeah, really. So now you're friends. I mean, I did notice that you guys are kind of like direct contact status and whatnot.
Yeah, thought I'd DM a couple of friends like, hey, want to join the podcast? Yeah, sure. How's Sunday? Yeah, sure. Sunday, sure. Why not? Okay. See you Sunday. Okay. Send you the link.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Hey,
I mean, that's the advantage of being here in the Philippines, like if your guests are also in the Philippines, that's actually a geographical advantage, don't you think? What do you think?
so I was actually thinking last night, right before this all thing started, how it really sucks being here right now because of this is a little bit off subject real quick before we bring them in. I went to the store, excuse my French, okay? All right. All I wanted to buy was a carton of milk. Can you just guess how much a carton of milk costs now? Take a wild guess. Just one little carton, 1 liter. Take a wild
Like
guess.
a little box like that? Or
No, it's about a gallon of milk. I'm sorry.
I have no idea. How much
$8.
was it when I was about to say? How much was it when I was there?
Dude, I mean, well, that was like $1.69, I think it was back then. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
I just want to say.
Times 800.
Is it? Is it really?
Or times 8, sorry. I was thinking
Yeah.
800%. Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
So
Okay, let's start the
complaining?
show. Yeah. Okay.
Let's go.
Two guys from two sides of the world. The Flip Side with Jay and Noel. Catch us live every Wednesdays and Sundays, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Philippines. Now, your hosts, Jay and Noel. Oh my God, it sounds so professional. What's going on, man? So,
Come on.
looks like we have a guest today.
I don't want to keep them waiting. Let's do
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined live straight from the Philippines. Dagan and Alyssa.
That's a place that you haven't been to in a long time.
Yeah, I know. We got Dagan and Alyssa from Millennials Legends. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Hey, look at you. A cute mug, by the way.
Belated Happy Valentine's, belated Chinese New Year.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And congratulations to 15,000 subscribers.
I know. Get out
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's
Cheers.
crazy. Cheers. Tagay!
I mean, we're ready.
Hey, cheers.
Tagay. Do they say Tagay also in Visayas, in Bicol?
Yes.
Or
Yes,
Bohol,
they do.
Bohol?
You're
Yes,
still in
they
the
do.
hole, right?
We are still in Bohol, yes.
Nice. So how is it? You guys settled in already and whatnot? Not yet.
It takes a little bit of time because there's some stuff that's needed in here, and
We also preach the words like freedom and travel and being free. And so the term settling in is do we settle in or do we just get comfy while we're here kind of thing?
yeah,
The bare minimums.
Careful.
we
Yeah,
try
you gotta
not
be
to settle in
careful.
too much. It's kind of our ethos.
Yeah.
So let's get these questions going on here. So I got quite a number of questions. I know Noel has as well. Okay, first off, thank you very much for being here. I know it's a lot of work and whatnot. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, taking
Thanks
the
for
time out of
having
your
us.
day from traveling every day of the year, and then all of a sudden you're going to just decide to sit down on a podcast.
I know, right? Such a
such
waste
an
of time.
honor. Hey, first podcast. First podcast though, right? That you guys have ever been on. You've done lives.
it's a good little 36-hour period. We got our first big members group kind of coming in on our membership side of things. We got our first big patrons on our patron page. We hit 15,000 subscribers, and we do our first podcast all in this just one little 36-hour period. And we have a whole stack of episodes. We put together 4 episodes today,
Yeah.
building on for the next coming weeks. So yeah, it's a big couple of hours here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice,
Nice.
Yeah.
nice. And
Chilling
all-
like a villain.
right. So you guys have been in the Philippines for a little bit over a year now, maybe like a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So
August.
Yeah. So a year and a half.
Yeah.
tell us
right
a little
at.
bit about yourselves. Like, what did you guys do back home?
I was a nanny. It was pretty simple. I was a nanny for 20 years, and then I was a server for 2. Absolutely hated being a server.
Oh,
Don't
Jason
watch
does
the
Worst
too.
job
episode.
ever.
Yeah, don't watch the episode that we talked about tipping and whatnot in restaurants. Please don't.
Oh,
Just
come on,
saying.
bring it on. Those are the controversial episodes. Bring it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you no kidding, man. The hate that I got for the stuff that I said. Oh, that was
Any
interesting.
comment about the culture of tipping in the U.S. versus the Philippines? What's your 2 centavos on that?
Well, first off, I
Not to put you on the spot or
22
anything.
years in the industry. I've been a part of opening over 12 restaurants and nightclubs and venues in direct
Jesus.
design and opening. I've managed the biggest events in the world. I've managed the most private events in the world. I think that gratuity is a must in any place where they're paying in a gratuitous manner. So, like in Florida, you have to understand
That's such
that
a safe answer.
well, so here's the thing. Like, do I feel like the Chick-fil-A guy who puts it in a grab that gets it to me, does that kid deserve gratuity? No, because he's making minimum wage, which in most states could be $16, $18 an hour. Now, if the server is making $4.50 an hour plus with a plus tips salary hourly wage, those are the type of individuals that deserve it. So it really bases it on which restaurant is running it and what they're paying.
Right.
If I know that the person at the other end is making plus tip salary, which is extremely low, then I do it.
Like
That makes
Starbucks, they
sense.
make good money, but
Yeah.
you also tip. They expect a tip on top of Starbucks.
Like Starbucks is one of the highest paid positions in Seattle. I mean, they pay like $19 to $22 an hour to work at Starbucks.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Their sole job is to make coffee. They are not going above and beyond in when making me my said
Right.
coffee.
Right.
So in my opinion, you're making more than all of the people in my restaurant make an hour, and your only job was to make me a coffee that took 12 seconds to make, and you have a recipe card for it that you learn. That's not in the world of gratuitous requirements for me.
I did not even look at it from that standpoint, to be honest with you, because my biggest gripe there is they have that tip jar on the side. On top of that, at the end of the credit card swiper thing, it's going to ask you for more tip. And whoa,
Oh, see, I don't
What
look at it
happened?
like that. Because one
Good
is
there.
like you tip with cash, and one is you can tip on your card.
correct.
So it's
Yeah.
not like asking for it twice.
That's true.
Double
I
dipping.
don't understand why it needs to be there. It shouldn't be there to begin with. I've always believed that gratuity is something that you or tips. It shouldn't be mandatory.
No,
It
it
shouldn't
should not
be
be mandatory. I think
But it
it
is.
should be like I think the option should be right off the bat, no tip, 5%, 10%. Like at those kind of places where I can
Right.
clearly go, no tip, you're making $22 an hour.
Right.
Plus
Right.
full health, plus healthcare, plus transportation, plus educational grants and benefits programs. Like I used to write corporate program SOPs for that kind of stuff. So those guys are getting, I mean, it's basically like working in the military, the kind of benefits you're getting working at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right.
They got better healthcare than I do walking in the door, paying for that $11 caramel macchiato.
Right.
Jesus. So that being said, obviously coming from a regular 9 to 5 job or basically the Western lifestyle of like always going for the grind and whatnot, to doing what you're doing now, was there a big challenge for you, or what has been the biggest challenge within that transition?
Go ahead, ladies first.
That's a good question. I think
Just to-
it's spending so much time together. Because we're literally together all the time.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest challenge.
I will tell you that's probably the biggest challenge.
Right.
when you stop working in a place like that. She was a server, and before that was a career nanny for 20 years. Very successful in her life, but that life is a very smooth, calm life.
Yeah.
Very pillow plush lifestyle.
Okay.
I was blood, sweat, tears, sex, drugs, rock and roll, nightclubs, venues, bars, restaurants,
Nice.
pubs, bouncing, all that kind of stuff. Security companies, entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Like, and the entrepreneurial in chaotic side of Magic Mike's story growing up in Florida. So a little bit different for me. The transition.
Magic Mike. Okay.
Oh, very, very much so.
All right.
For all intents and purposes. So for me, the only thing I could say that was a big challenge was the slow pace of the first 6 months.
Really?
First 8 months. Like it was 100% on me. There was nobody to schedule me. There was nobody to report to me. Nobody for me to report to. I was my own boss. I could wake up, go for a dive, and make lunch and go swim with her. And I really don't have to do anything today. Oh, damn. And then, I was in a
It's like coming from a busy body every day, hustle and bustle right of thing, to like, what am I supposed to do now? It's like, in a way, it's kind of like an early retirement, so to speak, right?
Yeah, very much so, I would say. And that's kind of the best way to sum it up. But at the same time, early retirement, but stopping and learning an entirely new career and job and profession. I knew how to peel potatoes and sear steaks and slice sushi with these hands. Now I can edit multiple projects at once, do Photoshop, work with AI.
Well, you're still working with your hands, so.
I am, but I don't get to eat it.
No, don't.
Yeah, that's
Keyboards
true.
don't taste good.
It was a very big transition for sure, because I went from the top of the corporate ladder in the food and beverage industry to absolute nothing. What do we need to do today? Oh, nothing. And that was intense.
For the first 6 months. What about us, Jason? What's happening to us? We've been doing this for a year already. It's langaw naman, linalangaw na tayo.
It's a whole okay. All right. So I've been trying to get this through Noel's head. Okay. It's a completely different aspect in regards to vlogging and doing a podcast.
Not complaining. I'm enjoying it actually. I don't like the stress. I'm just show up, done, go back to bed, go home. It's chilling like a villain, like I said.
Right.
I actually like the podcast stuff. When we do our lives, we're getting better at it, and it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it was actually really entertaining watching you guys. So before you guys moved here, my questions basically is all about curiosity, because I'm vicariously living through all these people like you guys as well, because I'm here in the state of Virginia wishing I was there sitting in the same place as you guys are, because I'm tired of this place. I'm really tired of this place, but I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck in this lifestyle and in this world now because, well, I got responsibilities and I got a family, right? So what was the breaking point for you guys that you guys had to say, you know what? I'm out. I'll see you guys later. We're going to sell everything. We're going to pack out. Let's go. What was that point for you guys?
Can I go with that?
Go for it.
So first off, I have to pause at the first half of your statement and go, why can you not? And then ask you if you have not seen episode 2 of ours or not.
Yeah.
So episode 2 is where we take that very question and that statement of I want but cannot.
Right.
Why can I not? What freedoms have I impaled myself into? What non-freedoms do I have? And how my life is controlled based on the what ifs or the what I have to do's of the day.
Yeah.
And we very much looked at that. We even made episode number 2 on our channel. And so
I did see that.
Yeah, we very much we both have a little bit of a different thing to it. So our relationship in our last 6 years can be summed up in a couple of major events. First off, we met because we love karaoke. We love karaoke. We met at a karaoke bar.
That's so fitting.
That's in turn one of the positive reasons of living in the Philippines.
Right.
But shortly after we met, I got severely injured snowboarding because I'm an extreme sports junkie. And we contribute a lot of the beginning of our relationship to the fact that I couldn't move for 12 months, and she took care of me while I was in traction, learning how to swim and surf and dive and walk again and
Right.
all that stuff on the couch. And then COVID, very simple COVID. And we were a very comfy, cozy COVID couple. And then we moved to Florida.
We moved to Florida before COVID hit.
Before COVID hit. We got hit hard just like everybody else. We actually we're homeless.
Hold on. While that's happening, did you have the Philippines or traveling or getting out of the country in mind already? Or was it brewing?
Traveling. We talked about traveling.
We talked about traveling. I had lived abroad several times prior in my life growing up and talked about it heavily when I was high-DAing things. And when I was, you're like at home, you're like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
I would talk about it often, but at that point when COVID hit, it was inter-country travel.
Yeah.
Adventure within the U.S. and see how things go. We mentioned briefly about the blogging stuff, but I didn't pull the trigger on purchasing equipment for another minimum 2 years. And so we jumped back into the industry. She couldn't nanny in Florida because nannies in Florida are traditionally half-time paid immigrants.
Right.
And it's very different. Where she was at in the big city, she could make over $40 an hour as a really high-end career nanny in Seattle.
It was different back then, but yeah.
So she couldn't get a job in Florida being a nanny, so she had to start serving because the number one industry in Florida is hospitality.
Correct.
You want to make $500 in an evening, you go do a serving
Let
gig.
me tell you, I worked lunch, and I made more working lunch as a server. As much as I hated it, I was a decent server.
Right.
I made more in a week, in 5 days, working 20 hours, not 40, not 45, than I would working 40 hours as a nanny. And nannies in Seattle get paid really well.
Jesus, what the hell am I doing in Virginia still? What's going on?
Right.
So.
But then chalk up having to deal with the world during COVID and post-COVID and how.
Well, the nice thing about Florida is most people that came in were Republicans.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
So I would have conversations with people with the same ideals as me for the most part. It was very rare that
the right red hand tips well. Just saying.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
So what was the actual breaking point that you guys just said, you know what? Enough of this. Let's go.
F it. Let's go.
She had so we had friends that had just left.
Mm-hmm.
The thought was in our head. It was at the end of COVID. It was 2022. 2022?
Yeah, like February
2022. Our friends had left. One of them had moved to Cambodia. One of them had moved here to the Philippines. We had Philippines friends, family. Everybody was like, yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea, but it was just a thought and a word and a conversation.
Right.
Coming on, summer comes.
Summer came. We had to deal with Bike Week. I had the pinnacle of my career, and after running the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24 and like conquering the biggest moments in the food and beverage industry,
right.
I wasn't paid enough and was highly underappreciated, and like that was like public.
Yeah.
And so
that sucks.
After 20 years in the food and beverage industry, climbing to the top, reaching the top and not being overly proud of it, her being disrespected at work and hating the serving industry, she had a bad day at work. I had a bad day at work. I picked her up from work. No, dropping you off?
Yeah, we were driving to work, and we're like, what are we doing? We're paying $1,400 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. We're paying $500 a week almost in groceries.
Jesus.
$150 a week in power, and Florida's normally really cheap in power.
Right.
It was coming out to about $4,500 cost of living to live each month.
Insurance,
health insurance, cell phones. I was paying for the family, all that stuff. About $4,500 a month. We were barely clearing right around $5,000 to $4,500 a month on a good month.
We weren't like struggling, but we also weren't thriving.
Right.
It's like you've plateaued, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we had a bad weekend, and I was dropping her off and just got off the phone with my buddy who was like having a volleyball contest with a bunch of half-naked Wahinis in the Philippines.
In Alona Beach.
Drinking a 10-cent beer, and we were like,
what are we doing?
We were like,
we literally looked at each other and like, what are we doing?
Right.
Yep. We looked, and that was it. And by the time it was time for me to go pick her up from work, I had already high-D'd into it, deep dove into
Right.
it, and
Right.
like we just chased it after that. A few weeks later, we sat down and filmed with our friends and family.
Mhm.
Told them we were leaving, got it all on film, vlogged the whole
Saw
thing,
that. Saw that.
and
I mean, the faces of your family, especially Alyssa's friend, was just like, "What the hell? Are you serious? Is this really?"
But she's
happening?
Filipino. She's
Was she?
Filipino.
Is she really?
She's
Oh,
half
yeah.
Filipina. Her
I
mom's
didn't know.
from Karkar.
I must
Yeah.
have missed that because she doesn't look like it. She doesn't look like it at all.
Yeah, no, she is.
Yep.
That's awesome. So
Yeah, that was our turning point, man.
why the Philippines? Is it because of your friends? Have you ever been there? Have you known much about the Philippines at all, or
He
what?
has a story about that.
I think so. A lot of my friends in the Navy were Filipino, right?
Okay.
You know, Filipino mafia is a real thing in the Navy. If you want to get shit done in the U.S. Navy, you speak Tagalog. Period. End of discussion. And
Really?
like you want to get in the real shit, you learn how to play tongits in the middle of the night, 12 stories down in the belly of the beast in a supply room.
That's awesome.
Like, I've seen tongits played in a freezer in an aircraft carrier in the belly of the beast, man. They weren't even playing. They were serious with it. If they could get the chickens alive on a U.S. Navy boat, they would have cockfights. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
oh, it's amazing. And so naturally, all my friends are Filipino. And then post-military, living in Seattle, all my fishing and hunting friends are Filipino.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All of them. There's a really amazing program that some of the guys that'll watch this watch, and they are the Heroes on the Water program, which is a program to take veterans out of their normal lifestyle, throw them in a kayak, and take them fishing and diving
Nice.
and playing in the ocean and stuff on kayaks. It's called
Mhm.
Heroes on the Water. Was really active with that program, entirely Filipino.
Mhm.
Nice.
And then my aunt who helped raise me
Mhm.
and uncle were Filipino. My cousins who I grew up with were Filipino. And
You're more Filipino than I am, it seems like.
and then I served in the Navy here, and I did a lot of the chart plotting, navigation, AIS, like the real chart plotting and seeing where you're at and learning the whole landscape and the lay of the land stuff in the Navy. I did that here for the better part of 2 years, coming back and forth through. Fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And you love the ocean.
I can't be without.
Yeah, you're it's sad to say, but you're definitely more Filipino than I am. It's ridiculous. I'm so whitewashed. It's ridiculous.
Before you move on to your next question, Jay, I wanted to go back to that vlog real quick, which I saw also. I'm just so jealous about the juxtaposition of them talking about how their decision to move to the Philippines, talking to family and everything, a little bit heartbreaking, and reminds me of what it might feel like if you were an OFW. But just going back to the scene of that vlog, he's walking around on the beach, and here, let me tell you about my problems about moving to the Philippines and how heartbreaking it is. But here I am walking around on the beach, so it's not really that big of a
white sand, blue waters.
So jealous.
So stressed out about it.
It's so rough.
It's so rough. The choices that we made, but we're here on the beach right now, so it's can't complain.
We do that every now and then. We're like, oh, it's horrible here. Don't come here.
Yeah.
Don't come here. You shouldn't come here.
No, that's kind of a thing though, because have you seen Bali?
Yeah.
Bali's bad.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why is it bad? What makes it so bad? Is it like really crowded with tourists?
It's trashed. It's trashed.
Yeah, it's covered in tourists, and they're not nice, and the certain demographic of white Western European, Eastern European tourists that have ruined it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
And like if you walk in pale skinned, man, they really don't like you right now.
Yeah, depending on what part of town you're on. Yeah. If you're like in a local part of town, they really don't want you there.
We had to work our way through a scam to get our hotel room, or else we would have been stranded when we got there. And we worked our way through it, and I argued my way through the scam, and they ended up only scamming us for like an extra 5%. When the other people, we watched them over 100 people during the month we were there, they turned them away and scammed them.
These people had paid in full.
Like, you travel all the way around the world, you get to the hotel you're staying in for the month in Bali, and they tell you you don't have a room here.
That's so scummy, man.
Yeah, we watched it happen. And it happens everywhere, all over. Like you
Yeah.
go around at 3, 4 o'clock in the middle of the night. There's young backpackers and travelers trying to figure out where they're going to stay for that night because they probably got scammed out of at least 1 or 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want
There's nothing you
to.
can
I don't
do.
want to throw water in the party here, but I just want to mention a couple of comments. People watching right now. Oh my God! Greetings from Panglao, aka Tank says hello, and the Filipino family. A
Yeah.
bunch of subscribers living in Belgium right now. The Eunice Fernandez message. We love watching your videos, and thanks for sharing your
Hey.
experience with us. Take care always. From
Shout out to
Eunice
Belgium.
Fernandez.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Fernandez family.
Nice,
Tank,
nice.
man. Tank the Shredder Evans. That's my boy, him and his wife Kavisha. Army veteran, moved here 6 months ago, give or
Yeah.
take. And they're trying to follow in a similar pipeline, vlogging and traveling. And
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I saw it recently. Like it's like a vlog that was titled something like Asia is the new America.
Yeah.
Like that's where everybody wants to go to now. Do you have any? You want to say anything about that, or do you want to keep it a secret? Like, or invite people to come in, or just keep it a secret? Don't tell anyone.
I mean, I would love to keep it a secret, but we all know the secret's already out. So might as well just talk about it.
Oh man, it's such a valued resource that we do love. And I mean, we've sat down in some major tourism meetings with like the governor and the director of Tieza Investment Group, which is a major investor here in the Philippines. The director of tourism in Bohol, shout out JP. He's an amazing guy. He's a friend of ours.
Nice.
We want it to be promoted and we want the growth, but we want the growth in a manner,
In a healthy manner.
that is responsible and respectful. I actually have a episode coming out here pretty soon about the positive and negative impacts of tourism in the Philippines, and you will see where I legitimately call out the presidents and CEOs of these companies, including like BDO. Like the
No
CFO, the CFO
Yeah.
of BDO sat down with me for a lunch, and then I wrote some heavy questions that they couldn't answer on camera, so we answered these questions on email.
Ah,
Ooh,
And
looking forward
yeah.
to that. I like where you guys are heading towards, like the kind of vlog that you guys are doing. But if you guys don't mind, I'll just interject, Jay.
go ahead.
Your initial sort of culture shock. I mean, it sounds all happy and dandy. Philippines, yay! All my friends are Filipinos, and we got a bunch of family kind of thing going on. But is there something like even up until today that you're still sort of adjusting to about like living in the Philippines or Asia in general? Like if everybody's thinking of running to Asia as a new America, is there something that you would warn anybody about, any Westerner? Like, hey,
Yeah. I mean, and not necessarily warn about, but like a heads up. If you love beef, there's no beef. There is beef, but you got to pay premium price for it.
That's
But mostly
hilarious.
there's no beef.
Right.
It's a real thing though. And like you can find sushi, but it's probably not going to be the best sushi. There's certain things like comforts from home.
Yeah.
I think dairy is probably the biggest one on the food side because dairy encompasses no beef, no cheese, no butter, no milk.
Yeah.
I thought
nothing.
you would say something about like the toilets being on the floor, or. But
That's actually hasn't been a huge issue.
Right.
For her.
Yeah. But you do have to carry wipes with you or toilet paper with you, some sort of something as women. No, there's just modern conveniences that aren't here. Like paracetamol. Paracetamol, you can't find it here. Or no, not paracetamol.
No, you can't find
acetaminophen.
acetaminophen. You can only find
Acetaminophen.
paracetamol.
Yeah. And paracetamol is great, but it doesn't work as well.
Right.
I don't know. There's like little things that add up over time. For me, as far as like finding women to connect with, he can find men. There's a ton of men from America and all around the world that speak really good English here. But for me, it's Filipino women, and I'm having a hard time connecting with Filipino women. Either there's a language barrier or just a cultural barrier.
Cultural.
Because I am from such a different part of the world.
Right.
Even his world, I'm from such a different part, the way that I grew up versus the way that he grew up versus the way that Filipinos mostly grow up. So it's harder on that level to find.
You know, if you're Filipina and you're 36, 37, 38 years old and you're married and you're a good woman, you don't leave the house. You know, you take care of the family, you take care of the kids. You know, you're rocking out at home. And you're very conservative. You don't go out and party. You don't go to the bars.
Right. There really aren't bars for women to go to.
You don't go to girls' nights. You just do your beautiful native wifey thing.
Hence, you guys are always together, type of thing.
Mm.
I'm thinking maybe
Yeah.
it's possible that they're a bit intimidated. Like, you got so much experience, you're traveling around the world,
Right.
and I'm being a Filipina. I'm thinking maybe it's like, what do I have to share? But it's probably not true. Maybe that's just like that.
I think it'd be an
space that
honest
you're
piece.
circling around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's an honest piece of it.
Yeah.
It's an
No.
undeniable piece of the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's language barrier, though.
Yeah.
I
So-
don't think it's much the language barrier as it is where they would probably prefer, this is from experience, that you approach them more
Mm.
and directly, as opposed to them waiting for them to approach you, because most likely the intimidation part comes to them approaching you because they wouldn't understand or figure out a way to properly approach you. And from my experience, it would be easier or more comfortable for them that you approach them. You know what I mean? It just,
Yeah.
I have some friends and some relatives that found it that way. And after that, they were able to adapt to having more people and more friends that they can hang out with here and there. Where a friend of mine would actually, she does the whole Filipino thing now for some women where they wake up, do their chores, and then they hang out outside the house with the Filipino neighbor friend and just chit chat, yada, 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 the whole day long and whatnot.
Medites.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think-
exactly.
I think that's
Which
another
remi-
thing too, is like, I don't want to sit and gossip and talk about people. I want to talk about like what's going on in the world.
Right.
I want to
Right,
talk about
right,
current
right.
events. I want to
Yeah.
talk about intelligent things, books that I'm reading and ways that I'm trying to grow and chickens I want to get.
Or maybe I'm looking
So-
at it
so-
the wrong way, where it's not intimidation. Maybe it's also curiosity, and like I'm thinking sometimes we don't know where to begin. It's like, what do I
Yeah.
ask? Maybe,
Right.
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe it's just our way of being respectful. Like we don't want to ask like
Yeah,
personal
No,
questions.
I'm not judging at all. I was just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
telling us
yeah.
the hard part.
Mine, my culture shock is a little different. Mine is very much a public, legitimate need to have a conversation with government and municipality officials. Is the lack of fishing and wildlife management regulations, meaning that
Hmm.
there's no more fish.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in America, when you go fishing, there's still fish because we have regulated seasons and we subsidize outcropping and outsourcing and out payments for, like, if we tell a crab fisherman that he can't fish 11 months of the year, we subsidize and give him breaks and hookups and grants so that he can
Mhm.
survive the rest of the year. There's no fishing regulations here. So these guys are going after every fish every day, all day, every day of the year without any regulations, without seasonal turnovers. Like if there's a fish that's spawning, like grouper, snapper, snook, trout, salmon, we don't catch them during those time frames. And
Hmm.
some fish we close for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Red snapper closed for almost 10 years. Goliath grouper has been closed for 30 plus years now. And each system is good
Yeah.
sometimes, and then it's bad. But because of the closures, we still have fish to catch.
Yeah.
I
It's
moved
a-
here.
It's
They
a free
closed
for
all
all.
of crabbing last year.
I moved here with the full intent of catching our dinner every day,
Mhm.
because that's what we did in Florida. We lived on the dunes in Florida, and if we wanted whiting or sheep's head or pompano or flounder, I would go out and catch dinner.
Mhm.
Right.
And
How are
we
the-
wanted.
Dagan,
But-
I don't want to get ahead of your vlog, no, but how are in so many words, I guess, how are the local officials taking it? Like when you say you guys don't have any more fish and you're going to run out in a couple of years if you don't stop it. I mean, like coming from an American, coming from a foreigner, it's like does anybody say like, who are you to tell us what's going on?
No one has responded in that manner. They do get a little quiet. I did
Okay.
luck out. I speak honest facts, and I only speak facts when I'm talking about seafood industry. And I've
Right.
spent my whole life in it. My father was a fisherman, grandfather. When we met, I was selling fish in Seattle, had a
Mhm.
fish market.
Mhm.
And I actually met the person who's in charge of writing legislation for Bohol's fishing industry, who is also a radio talk show host on the mornings here in Bohol.
Mhm.
And we met during the parade, the boat
Is this
parade.
go-
What do they call that? The
Is this gonna be
fluvial
on your
parade.
vlog? This is going to be on the vlog?
It
It already is on a vlog. It's
Yeah.
on a vlog where we're all on a big boat parade. and we met a guy. You'll see him. He's in an orange shirt. He's evidently the one writing the legislation for the fishing stuff around here and trying to change the ways. And he was approachable. He totally recognized the facts. And I think the biggest statement is right off the bat, you always have to prepare for is, well, how are you going to pay those guys? Or how do you tell a day-to-day fisherman who feeds his family daily?
Right.
How do you tell him to no longer fish? What do you do as a government to provide him the ability to sustain himself if you say he can't catch fish every day?
Right.
So until you figure out that question, you can't close seasons. So now you're already in a finite situation that will one day result in the lack of seafood to feed the population. And we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, it's actually really scary.
And that being seafood, the number one produce and whatnot that's generated there. So I mean, at least on the bright side, it doesn't look like you're getting much resistance, which is a good thing. So everybody's being open-minded about it. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. I mean, the safest way you can throw that pillow out to soften the blow is, hey, you want your grandchildren to enjoy tuna, right? You want your grandchildren to enjoy fresh tanige and fresh lapu-lapu when they're growing up, right? Well, this is how we do that, you know, and this is what it's going to take to do that. Yeah. And that normally softens to where they're like, oh, yeah.
Let me just say, I'm glad that you guys are not just doing like a food vlog channel or a cooking channel.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm happy to hear how you guys are taking it, or how the direction sounds like.
Right,
Jay.
So you've been there for a very long time now. I mean, it's safe to say you're kind of homebodies of the Philippines in a way, right? But still, still, there's still a lot to take on. I think we've already asked this question or dabbled around it and whatnot. So can you actually say that you're completely adapted already, or is there still those little nitbits that we miss from back in the Western world, so to speak?
I'll go first quickly, and then I'll let her talk because I think she has more to say. I'm from Florida. Florida is almost identical to the Philippines, from the mosquitoes to the coral reefs to the temperature and the humidity and the rainstorms. We're pretty much the same. We even have bats.
Right.
I'm comfy cozy.
Nice. That's why I was telling Noel that I'm planning to move to Florida. I want to move to Florida. You know what I mean? So anyway. I think Alyssa's a little different.
Okay. Yeah. One, there are bats everywhere, all over the world. 2, can you repeat the question?
Okay. So have you adapted completely? Let me put it to you that way. Or are you still,
no.
I mean, you've mentioned that you are missing those little stuff here and there, but how are you dealing with it?
No, it's definitely more of a struggle for me. I miss wearing jeans and doing my makeup every day and having it stay on. Because now if I do my makeup, most days it just like melts away. So there's no point in even doing makeup. And none of the women here really wear makeup unless you go into the city. So there's no point.
But why can't you wear jeans? I don't get it.
Are you kidding me? It's so hot.
Again, coming from somebody who's in Virginia. All right, my bad. Sorry.
Can't relate.
Well, it's like wearing jeans in Miami or more south.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's so and they do here. The locals wear jeans.
Oh yeah.
We look at each other. They'll wear a whole jean outfit.
They roll up on that scooter with jeans, scarf, hoodie, beanie, and a jacket on.
Sweating with a tank top and shorts on.
Right. Yep. Right.
So I definitely miss the change of seasons and the cold and
yeah.
I would say it's definitely been easier. It's been easier for me. Alyssa has.
I grew up with it.
Yeah, her mountains and her cold weather.
Yeah.
So you've jumped into the vlogging world since you've been there. What's your ups and downs? What's your ups and downs? Like what is it that was it easy a transition? I'm sure it wasn't that easy. And as you know, or as we can all say, kind of still in a way dabbling into it, right?
I mean, what's easy? What's hard? You know, like it's easy to be skinny. It's also easy to be fat, but it's hard to be fat, and it's also hard to be skinny. You know what I mean? What's your easy and what's your hard? Because this is to some people, like, this could be easy if you've been in television and you're comfortable around the camera. Like, once you get comfortable around the camera, it becomes, that's what I think. He's going to say more because it, like, piles up on him as far as the workload, but
Yeah. Well, what
I-
Noel
I-
was saying when he spent that day with you guys, Noel was like saying that it just came so naturally for you guys, you know?
oh,
And
for him.
that's exactly what it was saying.
Yeah.
So-
The talking in front of the camera comes naturally. I was raised in a theatrical world with my mom.
Mm.
But I mean, there are ups and downs to this. Like first up and down is both of those things at the same time was stopping the 20 plus years of bartending, bouncing, chefing, restaurants and industry and saying, I'm going to put this computer down here and I'm going to learn a new career right now.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
taking these courses
Right.
and I had to change everything. And then it took some time and then I got good and then I burned myself out, analysis paralysis. That's happened 2 times. That's been pretty rough.
Yeah.
But now you can pump out a good episode in just a few hours.
Yeah, it's all about organization. But
Right,
yeah, I went from 3 weeks making an episode to 3 to 4 hours. I can put together a pretty good episode.
That's a huge
Yeah.
jump. Huge jump. That's life-changing jump.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, Jason, they're machines. They're millennial legend machines.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of millennials, well, we got the word of the day coming up. Well, I don't know if I told you guys about it. There'll be a word from the millennials.
Yeah, we're
nowadays
ready.
that you guys, and so we'll get you in on that. But before it, is there any other questions that you wanted to add, Jay, before we pop in the millennial word of the day?
I got
We
a
came
couple.
up with that segment just for you guys, by the way.
Well, I got a couple. We'll get to that real quick. But quick break, if you don't mind.
Millennial word of the day.
That was courtesy of Noel De La Rosa right there. That's what you call theatrical right there.
Let's hear it. What's the millennial word of the day
What is your word of the day?
from the millennial legends?
Majorly.
Get out of here. What?
Majorly. That's
Majorly?
major. That's so majorly awesome. Like
Yeah,
majorly.
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 I have never heard of that. I have
What?
never heard of that. I've never heard of that. Anybody
You've never
using
said
majorly?
majorly?
No.
Oh yeah.
Like, seriously?
Like bet. I don't get it. So majorly is like what? How would you use it? Like majorly awesome.
I think it's another good 90s term for gnarly. Like that's gnarly. But
Okay.
applying it to everything. Like that's majorly insane.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
when I clicked on their oldest vlogs, I click on the second vlog of the Millennial Legends, and I watched it, and that's what got me to subscribe majorly.
that right?
Is
No.
that too long?
Is that the right way of using it or no?
I mean,
I wanna
sure.
ask-
I would say more like episode number 2 is majorly inspiring.
Yeah,
Like
we're
instead of
nerds.
saying very, it was very
Such-
inspiring. It was
I'm such a
majorly
loser.
inspiring.
Can't
so-
argue with that, Jason. It's coming from the Millennial Legends themselves.
Major-
Yay or nay? Noel, what do you think?
I gotta go with yay.
I don't know. I'm nay on that. I'm not too impressed by it. But all right, hold on.
Millennial word of the day.
Yeah, some words just roll off, right? But
Right.
some are like, huh? What?
I don't know. It's just, the way millennials and Gen Zers talks nowadays just pisses me off sometimes. It's just
That's
ridiculous.
how we're losing our hair.
Sorry.
It's not hella dope, dude, and it's not even fire. It's not even gonna work. You're not even trying.
There you go.
I
We know what
can't.
fire
I'm
means.
an old soul. I'm an old guy. I just don't get it. I have literally turned into those people that I hated before. The grumpy old men. It's insane.
Complaining
insane.
about previous
Yeah.
generation.
That happens though.
Yeah, but not from somebody who's like not even. Well, I guess I'm cracking 50. I'm knocking around the door, so whatever.
Yeah, but you're Filipino, which means you look 25 years younger.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it. I'm like struggling walking up 3 flights of stairs. It's insane. You know, I got a beer belly.
Insane.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Majorly.
Anyway, so just to go back to a little seriousness here, real quick. Okay, I've been wanting to ask this earlier, but I couldn't find a way to fit this in. So
This is getting serious now.
I've been seeing. Okay, well, trying to.
And then after this, we'll do the quick lightning round. So keep it light, and before we let you guys go.
Yeah. So I've been seeing on the videos on YouTube and TikTok, left and right and whatnot, about how everybody wants to move to Asia or whatever, like Noel said, but you guys came from living in the Western world to where you are now. The question is, do you think that the Western society or Western culture is ruining where it is at this point in the Philippines or in Asia?
No.
Majorly.
No, because the Chinese and the Koreans are considered the eastern side of the world, and they're doing enough damage.
Oh, I did not even look at it that way. Wow, good answer.
So
Good.
there's
Like, it's simple,
Asia,
man.
and
I'm
then there's-
from
quick.
Florida, right? You have the
Right.
Bahamas and the Caribbean, and
Right.
you see what we as Americans have done to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. And you guys are the Bahamas/Caribbean of Asia.
Hmm.
Well, I've always looked at it as the Mexico of Asia. You know,
No, Indonesia is the Mexico of Asia. That's where all the work factories are and the slave factories are. Indonesia
Really?
is Mexico. 100%.
wow.
Oh,
I am surprised by that, because I've always heard everywhere here and whatnot, even from Filipinos. Yeah, we're the Mexico.
No,
of
you're
Asia.
Bimini and Eleuthera, man. You're the Bahamas. You're Turtle Key, man.
Yeah, good to. Well,
Yeah.
look at that. We don't have to hop the border after all.
Yeah, it's really impressive how Dagan and Alyssa, millennial legends, are so like geopolitically aware, if that's the right term of it. I mean, they're not just going to the place, and they're actually really getting to know the history and the culture and the language and that kind of stuff. Anything else, Jason, before we get to the lightning round? We're running down the...
Let's go ahead and start the lightning round here. So, first thing, actually, let me start that off. Best thing about the Philippines.
The people.
Wow.
The happiness of the people.
Yeah, the people.
Okay. And it's up to you guys if you want to take a long answer, to long roundabout way.
Oh,
to
okay.
pick the
Okay.
right answer,
I thought this
or you
was
can
like
just-
lightning round, like quick.
No.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can answer
Quick,
short term or
Okay.
long term.
But it's
The
up to
people
you.
are just so happy, and one of the things that the people here tell you the Filipino culture is simple life. It's not about all the things. We go to the parks and the kids don't have cell phones. You know, they're all playing with each other. They're all laughing with each other. They're not fighting.
Yeah.
It's the people smiling everywhere we go.
Yep.
We went to the poorest part of
Tondo.
Manila, and just happiness.
Yep.
I could barely
these
get
people
that in my
have
dining
nothing.
table. You know,
Yeah, right.
my dining table, everybody's like, hold on.
Yep.
My phone's dead. Hold on. What happened to
All
the
right.
Wi-Fi?
Let me go
Right.
to the next one. It's supposed to be a lightning round. Historic
know.
sites that you've been to that you always want to come back to, maybe, or any historic site that you want to go to in the future, whether it's in anywhere around Asia or specifically the Philippines. Just anything historic that you want to go to, or will recommend to go back to.
Oh,
that you've been to.
okay. Quick backstory. I have a degree in world history studying and wartime studies. So it's a passion for me. I read old books. I search out old knowledge.
Mr. Professor over here.
I will lecture. Yeah. I will lecture. There recently, that lovely gentleman with the glasses there, I and the ladies got to visit the American and Filipino World War II Memorial and Cemetery there in Uptown, outside of Manila. And that was pretty intense. I recommend that for anyone and everyone. I also recommend that there are World War II historic sites all over the Philippines. There's places where like a famous plane went down, or a famous bomb went off, or a famous battle occurred. On the other side of historical that I'm not going to say much more about, there are areas in the Philippines that may or may not have Japanese gold hidden in them. And so, like, we have very much, this is all I'm going to tell you. We have very much sat down with a man who owns thousands of hectares of farmland and jungle land in the Philippines. Filipino,
Yeah.
a former general, high-ranking person, and he has explained to us that his grandmother and grand aunties, the women, witnessed the Japanese bury gold in this cave, and he wants me to help get the gold out of this cave on his land.
Mhm.
Really?
So, like,
I hope
that's
that's
a real
going to be in
thing.
a vlog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make sure you bring extra batteries there. You know, you can record everything.
probably not.
Okay, look, I don't want to put you guys on a spot, but it's a topic that's circulating around the news nowadays. Charter change, if the Philippines changing the 1987 Constitution and Mindanao separation, secession. Any
Right.
thoughts on that? You don't have
Um,
to explain all the way. I don't want to put you on the spot, but just your 2 centavos on it. Mindanao's separation first.
Okay, Mindanao separation first. Mindanao, compare it to Texas, right? You guys are you're flip side, right? So we're flipping
Right.
both sides here.
Right.
Texas has enough mineral rights, land, textiles, import exports to sustain themselves if they wanted to defer from the U.S. Okay, if they wanted to separate. Does Mindanao have enough of those resources to do that? Does Mindanao have enough military? Did they produce their own military? Do they have their own military agreements? I empower everyone to take their own leadership. I believe in state. You know, each state should represent itself, and in America very much. That's why we liked living in Florida during COVID, because COVID couldn't touch Florida, because Florida was defending itself, just like Texas is having to defend itself now.
Right.
If Mindanao had the capabilities to do it, and to promise to keep themselves safe and keep their citizens fed and taken care of and secured, and their import-export industries taken care of, I fully support independence. I think everybody has the right to do it if they can take care of it. If you can't take care of your people, don't try it. Hold on to the big brother, because big brother will keep them fed, and then it'll always be big brother's fault. You know, people argue whether Manila or Davao City are like the head of the Philippines, and I think that's an honest argument. I think there's progressiveness in both sides.
Right.
But I think I'll take it down to the vloggers. I think that the vloggers, and I might catch hate for this, I think that the vloggers that are living and vlogging in BGC, telling the world that they're living in the Philippines, are fake. And I think that the vloggers that are living in Davao City that are telling the world they're in the Philippines are as real as it gets.
Wow.
So-
that's a huge statement. Huge statement, especially there.
Like, you look at like the hate and the controversy that we've caught from just letting the world know that we went to BGC
Oh yeah.
is unbelievable. But
Really?
you go to Davao City, you won't catch hate.
Right.
People are they're stoked, they're inspired that you went to Davao City. If you go to BGC and you claim that you're experiencing something in the Philippines, they're like, that's not the Philippines.
Right.
And so
It's
I'm
it's
gonna
really
go
not.
see.
I mean, it's little America, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, going to BGC and Davao, or even BGC and Baguio, it's two different worlds, really. You know?
right, it's entirely two different worlds.
Yeah. And so I can see that statement happening. Okay.
Like,
Okay, let's
you know,
try not-
we came here and stayed in a Nipa hut. We moved here and stayed in a Nipa hut and used a silhig, manilhig in the morning, sweeping and all
Right.
that.
Right.
Like, we didn't move to a high-rise condo and go to Starbucks every
Right.
morning and say that we moved to a new country.
Right.
yeah, that's true.
go to Texas
That's so
Roadhouse.
true. Yeah. Texas Roadhouse.
Okay, before the charter change, 1987 Constitution, quick commercial break. Favorite dishes in the Philippines off the top of your head? 1 or 2.
Yeah. Oh,
Sisig.
yeah. Coming from a chef, I want to
Easy.
hear that. Sisig?
Sisig.
Sisig.
And
Yeah.
What else?
True, fresh Bicol Express.
Ooh, yeah, that one's
Oh, that sounds good.
good. All the
Would you
soups here
vote-
are so good.
would you guys vote that? Do we have a national dish in the Philippines? Would you vote that as a national dish?
Adobo. What are you talking about? It's like national
No,
dish.
adobo.
I have I just made adobo. I just did a 2-day marinade. You're asking a chef, does a dish represent the Philippines?
Just
You know what? I would say that there's a drink. I would say that tuba represents the Philippines.
Tuba.
Yeah, for
yes.
I say that tuba and bahalina represents the Philippines. I would say dish-wise,
I'm sorry. What's that second one you said?
bahalina.
What is
Fresh
that?
coconut.
So tuba. If you go back to I don't even know, episode 32
Yeah.
maybe or lower, with where we learn we go to a tuba farm and we learn how to make tuba and drink tuba.
Right. Okay, I know what tuba is.
They
Okay.
started as, they call it bahal or bahalina, and that is based on the aging of it. And like, so fresh off the tree at 5 in the morning, it's super sweet and it's bahal, and it's like
Okay.
candy water. And then it's aged and added dried mangrove bark dust,
Mhm.
and that makes it the red
Sweeter.
bahalina that you know. And then as that vinegars out and ages, it becomes tuba.
Yeah.
Got it. See, learn
After
something
day
every
5,
day.
it becomes tuba.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
sorry,
all
I didn't
of
mean
them
to
are
cut you
good.
off. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to cut you off about the food. Go ahead.
Like when you go to French Polynesia or the Solomons, you sit down and you don't eat a meal. You sit down and share a drink. You share
Mm.
kava. You share poi. Like you share like a drink in cultures wherever you go. So as a food and beverage guy, I would say that the first part of a greeting is a cocktail, not
Ah.
a feast.
Right.
A feast comes later. So in international relations, passe le bon, you know what I mean? We bring bottles. We don't bring dishes.
Right.
So I would put tuba or bahalina as the national dish or the
With
greeting.
Pepsi.
Yeah, with or without Pepsi is the argument.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
with a couple of liters of alcohol in you, and somebody asks, "What's your opinion on the 1987 Constitution? Does it need changing, or don't fix it if it ain't broke?" What's your 2 cents as a foreigner, as a Westerner looking at it from afar? Any advice for us in thinking about this idea of changing the Constitution?
I think that change should always be welcomed and respected and never feared. I think that in every congressional house, there should be short-term seats and higher elected long-term seats that require both seniority and full electoral vote. And I think that if everybody in the room is an elder person between their 70s and 80s and 90s, then they're never going to understand the needs of the people today. So I think that if you are going to work on the Constitution or the amendments or the rights of the people therein, you need a better spectrum mix. And I actually think that the Philippines is doing that a little bit better than America so far. I'm starting to see some very young barangay leaders, very young province leaders, some mayors that are young. We actually are friends here and locally with the youngest police chief, PNP chief in the Philippines. Who was
are you running for mayor of your city right now? What's going on?
He's a former special forces commando in the Filipino jungle task force, and now he's the youngest Filipino police chief in the islands, and he's the police chief of Gindelman here, and he's an amazing young man. So I see the diversity in the age coming up, and I think that there needs to be some change, but I won't trust any change that just comes from an elder group that doesn't understand the needs and the tribulations of today's world. Because unlike so many people who say, like people who lived during the Great War or the Second War or in America, the Great Depression, they can say that the next generation didn't have it as bad. But I think now any parent that's alive now lived through some pretty amazing, prosperous times in the world. And I think that the chaos and the anxieties and the distortions of social work that young kids are dealing with today, I think that the elders can't understand it, nor can they respect it.
Right.
And so I think we need to change, but I think we need to wait and integrate more, diversify more, and then come up with, like, instead of just people adding a piece of their own to this big bill, everyone needs to read and agree on the whole bill. You know, like the way that constitutional bills and things are written.
Right.
These guys they add their piece, and then this congressman adds his piece, and then they add their piece. And as long as they all get their piece in the bill where everybody makes their dime from or whatever, their progressive gain, then it's okay. Rather than everybody work together and write a bill that changes for the better of everyone. If you look at if you look at the way everything's written, everything's very individual to certain powerhouses, monarchies, and monopolies that have been around for a long time.
Right. Look at
Okay.
you,
or dynasties,
Jesus.
dynasties.
Yeah, but you're not talking about just here at this point. You're talking
Yeah.
about many countries.
Yeah, but definitely here you can see it. I mean, there are
Coming up.
dynasty concerns.
Yeah.
Coming up in 2024 election, Dagan for mayor. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Listen, while we try to wrap
Mayor,
Yeah.
president.
this up, you guys should have a podcast on your own. I swear. Okay.
I swear,
Tipid tips in the Philippines or traveling around Asia so far. Anything that you guys can sort of give us a hint on if ever we get the chance to travel. What's your
Travel advice.
travel savings? Yeah, how
Yes.
do you save up on travel?
How do you save on travel? Live like a local, act like a local, talk to a local, travel like a local. Buses, Roros, cheap trains. We just trained across most of Southeast Asia last month, and we're about to start releasing all those episodes. Live and travel like a local. You know, you don't have to fly everywhere.
No.
Right.
You don't have to have a first class room everywhere. But you also have to prioritize places based on their visas. Everyone gives a different visa. Sometimes Thailand's in a good mood and they'll hand you a 90-day stay here and party visa. The Philippines is adjusting. Japan is adding a digital content creator and digital nomad visa for up to 2 years, 6 months, then 2 years.
Nice.
In Indonesia, they take a whole entire page to go there one time.
Oh my gosh.
They take a whole page of your passport.
Really?
And if you island hop Indonesia and like go in and out of Indonesia, you'll lose half your passport in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And that's
it's a giant sticker
huge
to come in
recommendation.
and a giant
Right.
sticker to go out.
Like if you're going to go to
2 pages.
Indonesia, go see everything you want to see in that country in one trip and then get out. And
Yeah.
you're still going to lose 2 pages.
Ah,
Wow.
Two
Wow.
precious
I'm looking
pages.
forward to your next vlogs. Really, it's like we're talking about so much right now that it doesn't really all come out on the vlogs. But now that I have this and the way that you guys are talking about things, the more I'm looking forward to, your next episodes. There's so much like context. There's so much personality, and I'm looking forward to your opinions coming out on the vlogs. I'm telling you, you guys should start a podcast.
I gotta say though, watching
Well,
you guys' vlogs and whatnot, your train of thoughts and point of views on things really reflects on like how you are and your. It's like Noel said. I can't wait to watch the next episode.
That
Thank you.
brings us to
Thank
our
you.
next question. Probably, what can we look forward to next? What are you working on? Are
Future
you building
plans?
a house, filming a movie, or what's that, what's
Yeah.
next for?
Tom Cruise knocking on your door yet, or what? What's going on?
No, we have. So I like to teach. I like to lecture a little bit. So I'm coming up with this methodology program that I can put out in social media on how to create a successful blog or a successful business online, with how to edit, how to post, how to market, how to PR, and how to film, script, and design everything. Like basically how in 2.5 months you can film and do all the work for an entire year of social media content. And so
Can we get copies of that for free or something?
Let's not forget the 15,000 subscribers that they got now. I think it's pretty legit to what he's talking about. It's like some street credit already. Like there's meron ka ng K, you have karapatan, you have the right to talk about it now that you've got like 15,000 subscribers.
Right.
Congratulations again. Anything else?
Thank
What
you.
else are you guys working on?
I will tell you that there are some major events coming up and some major vlogs, and all I can say is to stay tuned, because there will be some intensity, some emotions, some things, and some updates, stuff that we're not going to put out yet that we're working on, some life changes and some stuff. So just we're nowhere near done yet. We've nowhere near defined ourselves. We've nowhere near defined what this channel is, where we're going to go with it, whether we're going to have other channels, whether we're going to have our own individual separate channels.
Ooh.
I think
We're
it'd be interesting too.
yeah, we're looking at several angles here.
Yeah.
I want to write some songs and write some poetry and write some books and stuff at the same time. And so there's a lot here. She wants to write some stuff herself.
Right.
And,
Right.
I don't know. I could cook and just turn this into a chefing thing, or
Yeah.
we could lecture
Right.
and turn it into a lecture thing.
Yeah.
It's all very different. I also, from the bottom of my heart, I have a son out there who I want to hear my voice and to be able to see and watch everything. So how I define what I do and how I act on here has a big reflection there, because this is a way for, I encourage any dad who's trying to connect with their children and their biological mother of their children don't want them to connect. This is an automatic and public way to say, yo, my kid can Google me while he's at school.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So-
That is so awesome. Honestly, I didn't know you had a child or a son until you told me earlier. And I mean, we'd like to get you back on again and like talk about that specifically, honestly, because I got like a million questions and like thoughts in regards to it, you know?
We didn't even get a chance to talk about that also when we met up. I didn't. Anyway, next
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Well, we are actually closing in now. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today and allowing us to do this with you. You know, we really, really appreciate it.
We're honored. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been an honor. You know, it's great to celebrate the 15K with somebody and you know, to hear it from somebody else. It's pretty crazy. You know, we woke up and we were just kind of like, wow, 15K.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Congratulations.
So there will be an episode coming out because we did successfully film 500, 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000 subscribers. We filmed all of those happening live.
Nice.
And like we're gonna compile it all, and yeah.
Awesome.
Before we wrap up, guys, let me just dovetail from having a son and being able to Google. What's the? But even just for generally for your audience that's watching you, for your subscribers, what do you wanna? What message do you actually want to pass on or to catch on with you guys? I mean, with everything that you guys are doing, what's the underlying philosophy or the you know what I mean? What's
our
the
ethos
legends?
and our ethos and our goals? Yeah. I mean, you know, I could read the brochure on our channel, what it says, or I could, you know, just tell you guys. You know, number one, I think for sure is live life to the fullest, no matter what. You know, you live like every day is your last, because in today's world, you really don't know. I have a little more somber side. It's two-piece. Number one is you're the victim of your own creation. You will always be the victim of your own creation. And so you are the legend of your own story. So how you dictate that is what dictates your story. And, you know, you can be a victim or you can be a legend and try to just push through and handle it. You know what I mean? Like that's like, just like with my son, you know, if he's got something he needs to talk about, he's welcome to reach out anytime. You know what I mean? To reach out. He's 14.
Wow.
It's crazy.
You know, hearing you just say that statement right there, I really appreciate that. You know, I've always taken something from people that we've talked to and whatnot, and I think that's like the biggest thing that I've taken out of all of this, with all honesty. You know, yeah. I mean, I am at the age where literally I'm probably reaching half of my life already and whatnot, and I'm in search. To be honest with you, I'm in search of a new direction or a proper direction. And what you said, that last statement that you made to me, that kind of resonated a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's why he goes, Nate Noel, want to start a podcast?
Oh, come on, man. Really? Anyway.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. And it's real. It's as 100% real as I could be. Like, you really are the victim of your own creation. Like if you walk into that room and your life changes because you walked into the room, remember who was controlling the feet beneath you.
Right.
Like, so that's, you're either going to, you know, do or die.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
well,
AKA
thank you
Hank
guys.
also wants to add congratulations again on the 15,000 subscribers.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody in here that was on. I really appreciate everybody. I see that some of our subscribers came over and are watching right there. So
yeah.
That's awesome there. We really appreciate that. And make sure to follow along with these guys. They've done some great work. We're really honored to be here. And we've got a lot more in store. So stay tuned for more. And I think that you were talking about having us back on in a couple weeks. I think that'll be a good thing. I think you'll be pretty blown away to see the difference of life now to a few weeks from now. So.
We're excited. We're excited.
to get you guys on to if there's anything that you want to talk about, let's say a vlog that you guys released, and hopefully we can ask you some questions about it, and you can talk about, let's say, the backstory, sort of the BTS or the extended commentary or whatever that we could talk about.
Yeah.
Just some ideas. Or if you find another
Yeah.
millennial word of the day that you might want to talk about, pop in anytime.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much
right.
again for joining us. It has been quite an interesting conversation. We're hoping that we can have the legends back with us soon again. And anything else you guys want to add, Noel?
I'm good.
Yep.
Oh, no, thank you so much. We're really honored to be a part of it. And we wish you guys absolutely the best.
Yeah.
And
Likewise,
just
likewise.
don't be a stranger. And we hope to see you in the Philippines soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping this year. Knock on wood. It's gotten pretty expensive now. The tickets are ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
And then
insane.
Noel, we will be visiting you once again here very soon. So
There you go. You heard it first right here. Whatever.
Yeah.
I am jealous. I hate you guys. It's horrible. I'll just say. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us again. Catch us on the next episode, which is going to be this Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 7:30 Philippines, 7:30 p.m. in the Philippines. Again, thank you very much. This is The Flip Side with Jay and Noel. My name is Jay.
Name's Noel.
And
come on, do it with us, Millennial Legends.
Millennial Legends. We will catch
right.
you guys later.
peace.
Catch us in the next episode, Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Philippines. This is The Flip Side with Jay and Noel.